We're about to explore 5 habits that completely changed my life in just 1 week. Yes, you heard me correctly, just 1 week. It may sound unbelievable, but I assure you, these aren't the usual tips you hear all over the place. These are real, raw habits that I personally embraced and embedded into my daily routine. I've faced the struggles, had my moments of breakthrough, and enjoyed the triumphs. The transformation I experienced was profound and nothing short of extraordinary. I'm excited to share these with you because they've had such a significant impact on my life, and I believe they can do the same for you. Whether you're seeking to increase productivity, improve mental well-being, or simply make a positive shift in your daily life, these habits are the tools you need. So, grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's dive in. Trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end. These habits are not just theory, they're practical, actionable steps you can begin today. Additionally, I'll be sharing personal stories and insights from my own journey, offering a candid look at how these habits truly work for me. Now, let's begin. Habit 1. Waking up early. The first habit that revolutionized my life was waking up early. I'll be honest with you, I was never a morning person. My bed was my haven, and I pressed the snooze button more times than I could count. Mornings were often chaotic, and I felt like I was always starting the day on the wrong foot. But I decided to try waking up early, and it turned out to be a game changer. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. The first few days were tough. I recall the struggle of dragging myself out of bed, groggy and uncertain, questioning whether waking up early was truly worth the effort. Yet, I pressed on, and by the third day, something remarkable began to unfold. I started to embrace the stillness and tranquility of the early hours. There is a subtle power in being awake before the rest of the world, when everything around me was quiet and serene. With these extra hours, I discovered a space for things that had previously been squeezed out of my day. I began each morning with light exercise, nothing intense, just a bit of stretching or a brief jog through the neighborhood. This simple act not only helped wake me up, but also gave me the energy I needed to face the day ahead. I also dedicated some time to meditate, setting clear intentions for the day. These moments of mindfulness greatly improved my mental clarity and focus. A surprising benefit was the sense of calm I now experienced. I no longer felt rushed. I had time to savor a healthy breakfast, enjoy my coffee slowly, and plan my day thoughtfully. This slower, more intentional start cultivated a sense of control, organization, and reduced stress throughout the day. One memory that stands out is the morning I watched the sunrise from my balcony. The beauty of the moment was simple, yet profound. As the sky transformed and the world slowly awakened, I was overcome with a deep sense of gratitude and peace. In that instant, I understood the true power of waking up early. Now, waking up early might not be for everyone, but I encourage you to give it a try, even if it's only for 1 week. Start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier than usual, and then gradually increase the time. You may be surprised by the profound impact this small change can have on your life. It's not merely about adding extra hours to your day, but rather using those hours intentionally to create a mindful, purposeful, and more fulfilling start to your day. Habit 2. Daily exercise. Speaking of habits, daily exercise was the second habit that truly transformed my life. Let me be honest, I wasn't always the most active person. I could always find an excuse to skip my workout. I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'll start tomorrow. Does that sound familiar? But one day, I decided that enough was enough. I made a promise to myself. I would move my body every day for a week, and the results were remarkable. I started small, just 20 minutes a day. I mixed it up between yoga, jogging, and strength training, so it didn't get monotonous and I wouldn't give up halfway. The first few days were challenging. My muscles ached and I felt fatigued, but I reminded myself of my purpose, to improve both my physical and mental well-being. By the 4th day, something incredible happened. I woke up feeling more energized. My mood underwent a profound shift. I found myself less irritable, more optimistic, and generally in a better state of mind. What I came to understand was that those 20 minutes of exercise weren't just about burning calories or building strength. They were about creating space for myself, offering a moment to release tension and allowing my endorphins to flow freely. One morning, I remember lacing up my sneakers for a jog. The air was crisp, the sky clear, and as I ran, I felt a sense of clarity and freedom that had eluded me for quite some time. It was just me, the open road, and my thoughts. The connection to myself, to the world, was truly empowering. I also started to notice physical changes. My posture improved, I felt more resilient, and my fitness levels gradually increased. But perhaps the most significant shift was in my mindset. Exercise became my sanctuary, a time to disconnect from the outside world and reconnect with myself. It transformed from being a task I dreaded into a vital form of self-care. I also ventured into yoga for the first time, despite my initial hesitations. I doubted my flexibility and whether it would even provide a meaningful workout. But after a few sessions, I found myself falling in love with it. Yoga taught me to stay present, to breathe deeply, and to truly listen to my body. It became a transformative experience, enriching not only my physical well-being, but also my mental clarity. Incorporating daily exercise in my routine helped me realize that caring for my body directly nourished my mental health and overall happiness. It's not about striving for perfection or pushing to extremes. It's about balance, consistency, and listening to your own body. It begins with discovering a form of movement that speaks to you, something you truly enjoy, and making it a regular part of your life. If you're struggling to take that first step, as I once did, I recommend starting small. Find an activity that excites you, whether it's dancing, hiking, or even just a brisk walk. Commit to dedicating just a few minutes a day, gradually building up from there. Believe me when I say, the rewards you'll reap will far exceed the initial effort. This habit has the power to not only transform your body, but also alter your entire perception of life. Moving on to habit number 3, journaling. At first, I thought journaling was only for those who had excess time or naturally inclined toward introspection. I was doubtful, to say the least. Who has time to pause and reflect on their day with everything constantly in motion? But after 1 week of consistent journaling, my entire outlook shifted. It became a cornerstone of my personal growth. I started with simplicity. Each night, I carved out 10 minutes to write before bed. I bought a plain notebook and a pen that felt comfortable to hold. No flashy apps, no pressure to make it look polished, just me and my unfiltered thoughts. The first night, I sat staring at a blank page, unsure of what to write. But I began with the basics. I reflected on how my day went, what brought me joy, and what challenges I faced. How my day went, what made me happy, and what I struggled with. As the days passed, my journaling evolved into a deeper reflection of myself. I started addressing not just my daily events, but also my aspirations, fears, and even the insecurities that I had long buried. It became a form of dialogue with myself, a way to untangle the complexities of my inner world. And that's when I began to notice the transformation. Patterns in my thoughts and actions started to surface. I could see clearly that some worries were beyond my control, while others provided an opportunity for growth. Those were the areas where I could take real action. One evening, after a particularly challenging day at work, I wrote down how the pressure had affected me. I was able to process the stress in a way I hadn't before, breaking it down and examining the specific triggers. This helped me see the situation more clearly and gave me tools for handling similar stress in the future. Journaling also gave me a chance to track my progress. I documented even the smallest achievements, recognizing that they were steps in my journey. These small victories, written down and revisited, provided motivation and clarity to continue pushing forward. For example, I reflected on an upcoming presentation I had been anxious about. Writing about how I prepared for it and seeing the positive outcome laid out in front of me was a powerful reminder of my capabilities. In addition to that, I introduced a gratitude section. Every day, I made it a point to note 3 things I was thankful for. This simple practice shifted my perspective from focusing on what was missing to celebrating what I already had, fostering a sense of appreciation and joy in my life. One of the most significant moments in my journaling journey came from a simple yet impactful act of kindness that I experienced. A stranger noticed my struggle with heavy grocery bags and offered their help. Writing about this random act of kindness allowed me to tap into a deep sense of gratitude. More importantly, it sparked a desire within me to pay it forward and spread kindness wherever I could. Through the act of journaling, I began uncovering various layers of myself, my desires, my fears, my strengths, and my vulnerabilities. It became a personal tool, almost like therapy, helping me unravel the tangled thoughts and emotions that had previously felt overwhelming. It offered me a space where I could express myself fully, without fear of judgment. If you've never considered journaling before, I urge you to try it. The beauty lies not in writing perfectly or coming up with profound thoughts, but in letting the words flow freely. Whether it's a quick recap of your day, your raw thoughts, or reflections on specific moments, just let it all out. You may be amazed at the clarity it can bring and the peace it cultivates. It's the process of writing itself, the act of self-expression, that truly matters. It becomes a practice of honesty and self-reflection. Habit 4. Mindful eating. Another transformative habit I adopted was mindful eating. This practice had a profound effect on me, especially because, like many, I used to eat quickly, often distracted by work or my phone. Meals became something to rush through rather than an experience to savor. I failed to realize how much this lack of awareness was impacting my physical and mental well-being. However, I decided to dedicate just 1 week to mindful eating, and the results were profound. Mindful eating is an approach that requires you to focus fully on the act of eating, becoming fully aware of both the physical and sensory aspects of the experience. It's not simply about putting food in your mouth. It's about taking the time to appreciate the flavors, textures, and even the sounds your food makes as you chew. So, I made a conscious decision to practice mindful eating with every meal. The first step was to set the stage for each meal. I cleared the table, arranged everything neatly, and made sure there were no distractions. No phone, no TV, no laptop, just me and my food. At first, it felt odd to sit in silence with my meal, but gradually, this became a peaceful ritual that grounded me in the present. Before each meal, I would take a few deep breaths to center myself, bringing my attention back to the moment and away from the usual rush of life. The first thing I realized was how much more I enjoy my food. I took the time to truly savor each bite. Foods I'd eaten countless times before suddenly revealed new flavors and textures I had overlooked. The crunch of fresh vegetables, the sweetness of ripe fruit, all these nuances became so much more vivid, almost like I was experiencing food in a more refined, high-definition way. Perhaps most notably, I became more attuned to my body's cues. By eating slowly and mindfully, I gave my body the time it needed to signal when I was full. This was a major shift for me because I used to rush through meals, often overeating as a result. But by paying attention to my hunger and fullness, I naturally found myself eating less, yet feeling far more satisfied. One particularly memorable moment was when I enjoyed a simple bowl of oatmeal. Normally, I would have rushed through it without giving it much thought, but this time, I truly appreciated the warmth and texture, allowing myself to be fully present with every spoonful. The experience made me realize how much we often overlook the small, simple pleasures in life. Typically, I would have quickly devoured the meal without much thought, barely giving it a second glance. But this time, I made a conscious decision to slow down and truly experience the food. I allowed myself to savor the creamy texture of the oatmeal and the gentle sweetness of the honey drizzled on top. What would normally have been a simple task became an opportunity for reflection and gratitude, setting a calm, positive tone for the rest of my day. As I continued with this practice, I began to notice how different foods affected my body and mind. The heavy, processed foods would leave me feeling sluggish, bloated, and drained, while the fresh, whole foods made me feel lighter, more energized, and more connected to my body. This awareness shifted my perspective, and I started making healthier food choices naturally, without the sense of deprivation or restriction. Mindful eating also opened my eyes to the emotional connections I had with food. I began recognizing when I was eating not out of genuine hunger, but as a response to stress, boredom, or the need for comfort. This realization was a powerful tool. Instead of eating mindlessly, I could address the underlying emotions. Perhaps I needed a moment of rest, some relaxation, or a conversation with a friend, rather than a snack to fill the void. I vividly remember one evening when I found myself craving something sweet after dinner. Instead of instinctively reaching for dessert, I paused and asked myself if I was truly hungry or just seeking a reward. After a long and tiring day, I realized I wasn't hungry at all. Instead, I chose a warm cup of herbal tea, a small yet meaningful victory that showed me just how empowering mindful eating can be. Incorporating this practice into my daily life proved to be transformative. It helped me cultivate a healthier relationship with food, improve my digestion, and enhance my overall sense of well-being. The simple act of eating with intention became a powerful tool for nourishing not just my body but my mind and spirit as well. This habit of mindful eating has stayed with me well beyond that first week, and I find myself continuing it with great benefit. I cannot emphasize enough how transformative it has been. If you're curious about giving mindful eating a try, begin with just one meal a day. Sit down in peace, away from distractions, and take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Focus on each bite, paying attention to the flavors, the textures, and how the food makes you feel in the moment. You may be surprised by how much this simple practice can enhance your relationship with food. It provides an opportunity to truly reconnect with your body and express gratitude for the nourishment you're receiving. Moving on to the next habit, habit number 5. Limiting screen time. This one proved to be especially difficult for me, and I imagine it could be a challenge for many of you as well. We live in a world that is dominated by digital devices. Whether it's endlessly scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, or checking emails, screen time has become a constant companion in our lives. But as I became more aware, I noticed the negative effects it was having on my mental well-being, my productivity, and even my sleep. I knew I needed to create some boundaries, so I set out to reduce my non-work-related screen time. My first step was setting a daily limit of 1 hour for non-essential screen use. No more mindless scrolling through Instagram, no more binge-watching YouTube videos, and no late-night TV marathons. At first, it was challenging as I had grown so accustomed to filling every free moment with my screen, but I knew it was a change I needed. The immediate result was striking. Suddenly, I had so much more time in my day. I hadn't fully realized how much time was slipping away until I intentionally cut back on my screen habits. With the time I gained from reducing my screen usage, I found myself reconnecting with interests and activities that had long been neglected. I picked up a book that had been sitting on my shelf for ages, rediscovered the joy of doodling and drawing, and even explored new recipes in the kitchen. One evening, instead of succumbing to the usual routine of TV after dinner, I opted for a peaceful walk in the park. The cool air, the sounds of nature, and the simple act of moving my body were deeply refreshing. It was a marked contrast to the sluggishness I often felt from excessive screen time. That walk quickly became a cherished ritual in my day, something I looked forward to and savored. Another notable change was in my sleep patterns. I had once made the mistake of taking my phone to bed, scrolling through social media or watching videos until drowsiness overcame me. But this often left me feeling restless, as if I could never fully relax. By cutting back on screen time, especially before bedtime, I found it much easier to unwind. My new evening routine, which included reading a physical book, meditating, or simply reflecting on my day, allowed me to fall asleep more naturally and deeply. This shift led to a profound improvement in my overall sleep quality, and as a result, my energy levels were noticeably higher during the day. Beyond physical changes, my mental well-being also flourished. Without the constant influx of news, social media comparisons, and digital noise, I found myself feeling more grounded and less anxious. I became more present in conversations, more focused on the people around me, and more engaged in my daily life. It felt as though a fog had lifted, allowing me to perceive and appreciate life with much greater clarity. There was one particular afternoon that stands out when I spent several hours at a quiet local cafe with just a notebook and a pen. The simplicity of that moment was profound. I took time to jot down my thoughts, plan a few goals, and even make some sketches. There was an undeniable sense of peace and productivity in the air, a calmness that screens had never granted me. In that space, I felt a deeper connection to both myself and my surroundings. There were no digital distractions, just the flow of my pen on paper and the hum of the cafe around me. It was a moment of clarity and focus that the usual distractions of modern life often overshadow. Of course, there were moments when the pull of my phone was strong. Old habits are hard to break, but each time I caught myself reaching for the screen out of routine, I gently reminded myself of the benefits I was experiencing and redirected my focus back to the task at hand. This allowed me to stay present and productive. Limiting screen time isn't about erasing technology from your life. It's about finding a balance, about reclaiming your time and making more intentional choices with how you spend it. If you feel overwhelmed by constant digital noise, I suggest trying to set boundaries. Start small, perhaps reducing screen time by an hour each day. Gradually, you'll find that you have more room for the things that truly matter: self-reflection, real-world interactions, and personal growth. You may be surprised by how much richer and more fulfilling your life can become when you disconnect from a digital world and reconnect with the present moment. And that brings us to the end of our exploration of the 7 habits that changed my life in just 1 week. This journey has been both transformative and rewarding, and I hope that by sharing these habits with you, you find inspiration to make them your own. Each of these habits holds the power to bring about meaningful change, and I truly believe that if they could work for me, they can work for anyone. So, if any of these habits resonate with you, I encourage you to begin. Start with just one and adjust it as needed to fit your life. Embrace the process and let it unfold naturally. Remember, the journey is not about achieving perfection, but about consistent improvement. It's about embracing the small, deliberate changes that compound over time, eventually leading to profound transformation. As you consider which habit you might start incorporating into your life, I encourage you to take that first step, no matter how small. It's all about progress, not perfection. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Share in the comments which habit you're planning to try or any questions you have about the process. Your insights and stories are invaluable to this community, creating a space where we can all learn and grow together. If you found value in what you've seen today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the valuable tips and wisdom we have coming your way. We have many more insights to share that can help you unlock your potential and move closer to the best version of yourself. If you think these habits could benefit someone you know, share this video with them. Sometimes a small change in perspective is all it takes to create big shifts in life. Thanks for joining me today. Let's keep pushing forward, embracing growth, and turning each day into an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled. See you next time. Keep striving, keep growing.